All right. There we
Your
go.
hair looks great.
You're
buddy.
recording. Your hair looks good. This is
So does mine.
Oh!
So we got a round table from the Midwest and the West Coast going on. This was supposed to stream live in MLO Network, but if you guys watch any of the live streams we've done, you realize that internet connections and software sometimes are not my forte. And the two different programs that I have to go live and stream don't seem to be working right now. So we're just recording it instead. Andrew, appreciate your time. Thank you for being so generous with all the things that you've learned with us over the last few years and the different LO groups that you've helped participate in. I just really appreciate your approach to business and how much you've been able to give back to not only the LO community but the country. So for those of you that don't know Andrew Paul, I'll let you introduce yourself. But Andrew's an American badass. So I guess we promised to keep this short. I'm not going to talk a whole lot. I'm done running my mouth. So Andrew, talk about who you are and let's get rolling, bud.
Well, I'll just give you a brief who I am. I don't like really talking about who I am, but so my name's Andrew Paul. I'm Vice President of United Military Lending and a loan officer in San Diego, California. I used to be in the Navy, and I got off active duty in 2007 and transitioned from military service, a couple of combat deployments directly into mortgage lending. And, those of you guys who've been around long enough to remember, 2007, 2008 wasn't necessarily the greatest time to get into, the real estate and mortgage industry. So I'll just say my timing wasn't so amazing. Needless to say, that contributed to being a very difficult transition from active duty service. Long story short, went through a really tough transition, just building my business and learning the business and things like that. And like many of you, I've learned things that worked, learned things that didn't work. And so, Fish wanted to have me come on here and just do a success series. I have with me today also one of my loan officers, Megan, who's also a production partner for me. And she's just going to help keep me honest on, oh, wait, no, you don't really do that, Andrew, or whatever. But also, I keep Megan like, what do you see? She sees my daily life, my daily routine, and can see, as I'm sure you all know, just how crazy the daily life of a loan officer can be, right? I mean, it's all day, by the way, right? I mean, I'm sure there are some people on here who punch the clock 9 to 5. I don't know how you do it if you do it. But for me, the mortgage business never sleeps. It's 24/7. I mean, I'm texting my production partners 11:59 last night talking about a loan's got to get disclosed today, and I'm up early and at it again the next morning. It's constant, right? So we're all looking for that edge. We're all looking for how do we become more efficient and more effective. So the topic for today, when Fish and I were talking about doing this, that I was like, what came to my head was, I don't know if this makes sense to you, but doing more with what you already have. And where that came from is just, I think there is a real tendency in our business to sometimes want to chase this thing, chase the next thing. And sometimes also if you're spending too much time on Facebook and in some of these mortgage groups and things like that, what you can see is you can see different people having different levels of success doing different things. And you might think, well, I need to go do that. And then I need to go do that. And it's a version of FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. It's like back when you were in school and you were Tuesday night and this group of friends was going to go out and you're like, well, I don't want to miss out on the fun on Tuesday night. I'll get my homework done on Wednesday. Then Wednesday afternoon rolls around and you hear some people are going out and you're like, well, I don't want to miss out on that. And then what you don't realize is that, so you go out and go and have fun on Wednesday night because you think you're missing out on something maybe.
You need to speak to my son.
What's that?
You need to speak to my 15-year-old son.
Yeah. But what you don't realize is that when you're going out here now on Wednesday night, the folks who you went out with on Tuesday night are home that night. But you don't see that. You just think that everybody's going out. So what I'm telling you is that if you're in these Facebook groups or you're looking online and seeing what different people are posting, it's a version of FOMO. It's a version of if you think, I need to go do that, or I need to go do that. Next thing you know, you're dabbling in 4 or 5 different approaches to building business. And the people who are posting saying that they're having success doing method A, they are all in on method A. And then and then you hear someone who's like, oh, well, I did this and it worked. And you're like, well, maybe I got to do this too. And next thing you know, you're trying to get business 15 different ways, not thoroughly in any one. Okay. So that's just one thought. If that's you, maybe it's time to stop chasing, real estate, the talking house sign and, the mega broker open, or, are you going to be the, low cost discount brokerage and do lots of deals? Or are you going to be maybe a higher cost, higher level of service and do smaller number of deals? Pick a lane. You can't do both well. Okay. If you stand in the middle of the road, you're going to get flattened. So lean more into a couple of things that you can do really well.
Quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity. I mean, look, there's different models out there, right? We know that there are some people who are, hey, I'm talking to somebody the other day. This blows my mind. They are spending, I kid you not, they are spending $55,000 a month on direct mail campaign postcards. 55,000. Now, because I'm talking to this person, I'm seeing a little bit of what's actually going on. You know how many deals they're closing? 10, 12. So, let's just say they make $5,000 a deal. Or let me back it up. That means for 10 deals, right, it's costing $5,500 for every deal on those numbers. I mean, so all of a sudden somebody like that posts like, man, direct mail works for me. I closed 10 deals last year, and you don't see the rest of the equation. And all of a sudden you feel like you got to jump into the direct mail campaign business, and all right, so some of this stemmed out of, I have another gal on my team who helps me do outreach and to help me, find more people to do business with. The vast majority of my business comes from referrals from real estate agents who see me as a VA loan expert or specialist. And, they have other lenders that they work with, and I'm okay with that. But when they have a VA loan, it's like, call Andrew. Okay. So that's kind of my business model. So she helps me find and identify other agents in my marketplace and in other marketplaces where I serve, some licensed in several other states that are folks that I need to align with. And so she's been with me for about 6 months. And what happened was about a month ago, and she's making phone calls. Her job is to find new people for me. And then, then it's up to me. She's there to help me find the people and make an introduction. And then I go and I'm going to have that meeting with that person. And then it's up to me to see if we're going to connect and then follow up and then maintain that relationship. She calls me about a month ago and she's just like, listen, Andrew, I'm just getting the door slammed in my face right now a lot. Like, I mean, even, people being rude, and I'm just feeling deflated right now. And so this was the aha moment, not aha, but related to this, as I said, all right, here's what we're going to do. Let's pump the brakes. We've been hitting the phones hard. We've been hitting lots of meetings hard. And over the course of a few months, we've identified, let's just say, a dozen agents who have said, yes, Andrew, I'd be open to working with you. And we've had meetings and they're on board. Okay. Let's pump the brakes and let's go focus now on those 12 people. And let's just go deeper with them. Let's go out to dinner. Let's go out to lunch. Let's go. And so now I've been just going back to them rather than to where I'm getting the door slammed in my face. I'm going to go lean into the ones who have said yes. They like me. They like our pitch. It sounds good to them. They believe that the service we're going to provide is going to be valuable to them and their clients. They've said yes. They raised their hand and said yes. All right, let's go lean into them. That is the theme for this presentation today, or this discussion. That's what I'm trying to convey. Let's go to those people and say, you know what? Hey, look, I believe that people do business with you, or they do business with people who they get to know, who they like, and who they trust, right? They do business with people who they know, like, and trust. Well, we got to get to know each other better. I mean, I know we've had a meeting. I know we've talked a couple of times. But for you to really think, I'm going to refer Andrew, I mean, I think you got to really feel like you know me. and you like me. Maybe right now you feel like you like me, but I don't know that we know each other, right? Let's go spend some real time together. What are you doing next week, week after? Why don't we go grab some dinner on Wednesday night? You and your wife, I'll bring my wife, or maybe it's I bring the gal that's on my team. We just go grab dinner. Hey, what about, that sounds crazy. What about going to the comedy club? Wow, it's a new relationship. Hey, listen, this is it's like dating. It's legit. Like let's go spend real time together. So that's the theme behind this. Where are you in your business right now? Where you could lean into the relationships you already have rather than chasing new ones who are unknowns. Are you chasing, now listen, nothing wrong with generating leads, right? Are you chasing online leads? To the point where you're getting total jackasses that treat you like crap. And I know you can hang up and throw them away too. Well, what if you went back through your database, spent some legitimate time there and said, I've identified about 10 or 15 people in the last year or two that I've done business with who, man, I really like these people. And gosh darn them, they were Andrew Paul fans. I mean, they were like, Andrew, God, thank you so much. If it wasn't for you guys, I don't know how we would have this house today. Why don't I go reach out to those 12 people? Spending time with them gives me energy. They enjoy being around me and me with them and vice versa. And maybe if I reiterated the fact, like, listen, my business works by referral. And if you know another friend or coworker who is looking to buy or needs to refinance, could you keep me in mind? And what do you think that person's going to say? Oh, Andrew, absolutely. Anybody I see who needs a mortgage, I'm sending them to you.
Andrew, I got a question for you. What would you say to the loan officer? Now, we know what you just said about, hey, go in, strengthen, and deepen with the client base that you already have. So what about the LO that has done that, right? And they're they feel like they're getting a little burnt out with their 12 realtor partners that they've worked with for the past 4 years, and they're at a stalemate. They're feeling stagnant in their career. They feel like they're in this rut. What is your coach to them to say, how do you, okay, it's time for you to maybe get some new business, but what happens to us all, let's just face facts, is we can get a little comfortable, when we're working with the same world, we become part of our own little bubble, our own little world that we have, and it becomes a comfort zone to get outside of that. So what would your coach be to be that LO that did what you said 3 years from now, and they're stuck with those 12 realtors that they feel like, I like this, but yet my business is the same now. It's better than it was 3 years ago, but now I'm at this next level of
plateau.
Plateau. That's a great word. Yeah. Jay, it's a great question. It's happened to me. And so there's a couple things you brought up there. One is the topic of complacency. And so you touched on that topic a little bit. I mean, if you're getting comfortable, if you're getting complacent, I'll never forget when I was in Iraq, every time we go outside the wire, there's a big, concrete wall, and somebody spray painted on that right as we were driving out the door. It says complacency kills.
Yep.
And I mean, look, in combat, that's like really real, right? But complacency in your business kills your business.
Absolutely.
You got to remember a couple of things. Number one, if you've got a great relationship with an agent or somebody who's referring you who produces loans, I promise you somebody else is barking up their tree trying to get that business from them. You cannot get comfortable in that. You got to make sure you continue to serve those people, or eventually somebody's going to catch their ear, right? The other thing is that you've got to continue to bring new relationships in, okay? So, I mean, today I'm talking about leaning into what you already have. But, Jay, if you bring up, like, hey, go into –
something real quick? What you were saying is, like,
what?
Can I piggyback on something real quick?
Well, yeah.
Like, don't get comfortable with those relationships because someone else is barking up their tree. LOs, how do you feel when you've worked with the same title company for 5 years, right? They just assume they now have all your business. Have you noticed a trend? We kind of get put a little bit on the back burner because they're going and doing new things, finding new business. And sometimes the people that you think are your loyal clients, just by human nature, we accidentally put them on the back burner because we think that relationship is secure. And to Andrew's point, someone else is coming in. I mean, it is a relationship, right? You need to nurture your relationship, and please do not take my advice on those. Okay, I'm clearly not that guy, but with business relationships is you can't make them feel that they're not appreciated. You can't make them feel that they're just taken for granted and that they're always going to be there. You need to love them up, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Those are your easiest people to take care of. And some of us, we put that in the done box. Well, that's done. I don't need to worry about it. So we should actually put more energy into that box, like you say, leaning into that and trying to extract more out of that. I posted a tip in here just a couple days ago. I don't know if you saw it, Andrew, but a lot of folks really liked it. And it came from a conversation I had with the LO who was just feeling a little bit down and struggling a little. And one of the things that we talked about was in a lot of markets right now, LOs are getting frustrated because they've got a lot of pre-approvals and they don't have any luck getting those offers accepted. And they said, well, how about we look at that as an opportunity to make deeper relationships with those folks that are currently pre-approved instead of just saying, well, they're already approved, let's just wait. Well, this is a chance for us to market more. If we're not making money, that's okay. We can still use what's going on in our business to build a platform for tomorrow. So I found that some of my clients who couldn't find houses for 6 months or a year or 18 months, who I stayed in contact with, who I talked to every few weeks, ended up becoming the best long-term advocates for my business because I talked to them every week or two for like a year. And, it gets to be exhausting. But those people,
the retired Air Force wife.
Those guys, I talked to them for a long time.
I helped them with that.
I know.
They're not my client.
It's okay.
I helped with that.
No. I mean, it was some clients that we met together, and
right.
This is just coincidental, but this was just a couple weeks ago. We had a benefit dinner, and I invited some past clients of mine, and it was Air Force. I think it was the E5.
That was him?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
See,
but anyways,
again, his client, not mine.
Yeah.
But either way, the point of the moral of the story was let fish work the relationship. I'll come in for the VA.
We had to stay with them a long time, until they actually got
It took a while.
House.
I mean, it was like over a year, I think.
Yeah, but I just had to talk to them a long time. So I just kept calling them, talking to them. And, they've been very cool about connecting me with other people. Now they're talking to me about maybe teaching a class on the local Selfridge base, and he's got some connections. But it wasn't even about that. It was just about, these people were cool. I wanted to help them. And I said, well, let's do it the right way. Let's build a good relationship with them, and we'll see what happens. And so many LOs just put those relationships in the done pile, well, I got to make 50 more calls to 50 new people and keep moving, check. Versus, well, like you said, Andrew, how about I find the people I really freaking like and really take care of them and ask them to help me a little bit. So, yeah, of course, I got a deeper relationship with those people. I'm asking them, hey, who do you know? I mean, I could use some referrals this year if you see anyone coming up. And like in that case, those people are higher end buyers, all their friends have good jobs, and it's like an ideal client for me. A lot of high end veterans, who wouldn't want that, right? So,
well, I'll give you a metaphor here. In this is in regards to shooting, whether it's a gun or a bow. So this is particularly with archery, right? In staying in contact with the client. Some people would think, you got to pull your bow out a couple times a year and shoot a few dozen arrows. I used to do that when I was young, but then I realized if I pull my bow out of the case and I touch my bow and I say, hey, how you doing? And I draw back and I stick it in the bullseye with one arrow, why sit there and waste time? It works. We're doing that, So I guess the moral of that is to say, hey, touch your client, shoot the bullseye once a month, couple, times, whatever I know you do weekly and bi-weekly stuff, but, at least try to make an effort once a month, once a quarter, go through your book of business and make sure your bow is shooting straight and that your arrows are hitting the target.
Good. All right. Now we promised to make this shorter, and I think we had some really great tips. So Andrew, if this is kind of a not a curveball, but a question that I find myself getting, because as LOs, sometimes we're skeptical, sometimes we're negative, sometimes we're realists. I guess that would be the correct phrase, right? Some folks would say, well, Andrew, you just tell them that you're a Navy SEAL and the door's open. I can't do that. I didn't serve and I don't have a niche. And I mean, did you, and yeah, I know this because you and I have talked about it, but did you automatically build those agent relationships because of your previous job titles?
I mean, I think that, when I'm working with a veteran, just there is a natural connection just being a veteran. I mean, for sure. But I mean, I still have to earn that business. And I don't win every deal. And I've got veteran clients who go elsewhere. So it's not like they're just like, oh, well, you were in the military, here's my business. I mean, you still have to earn it. You still have to build trust. You still have to believe
appreciate your service. USAA rates are better. You still got to deal with that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I mean, we hear that from all these LOs, and your relationships are built on the fact that you're a badass at knowing how to close loans smoothly. I mean, you've taken an approach to I guess your roadmap for success started with, well, I better really know what the heck I'm doing first. I'm an engineering mind. I've got all this training. I got to know my guidelines. And some of the guys that you've helped me coach and some of the people that I've seen that have been in your networks before they came to mine, they're like, well, Brad was mentioning this just a couple days ago. Well, I was talking to Andrew, and Andrew said, go read chapter 4 of the 26-7 and don't do anything until you've read that. Don't do anything. Make sure you know that before you even get on the streets. And that's in my coaching and training programs. I try to do the same thing. I try to talk about the concept of having a foundation and then building on it. And if your foundation is weak, what happens? I mean, it's everywhere. It's in the Bible. I mean, you've got to have that foundation. So the reason you're able to build a strong business is not just because of your previous job or connections that you have or any of that kind of stuff. It's the combination of recognizing your skill set and then figuring out, okay, well, here's my skill set. Here's my market. Here's the people I like. Now, like you said, let's run into those people and let's do a great job from them or for them.
Yeah. So I think so the big takeaway, and I don't want to ramble on and on. People got work to do, and I want this to be impactful and get back to work. But I want to ask, Megan, do you have any insight watching my daily routine?
Megan, can you tone it down over there for Christ's sakes?
What do you got? What works and what's not working in my routine on my day and on our team?
I think, Andrew is doing the right thing. I think it's just really all about incubating the agents who are wanting to work with you and, to leverage from that. And also, if you wanted to get more business, having Warren reach out to other agents, see if it is the right fit, then add them to the incubation process. And you just keep on going and going and going, but you incubate while you find new agents who are wanting to work with you. Other than that, I think Andrew's doing well.
Oh, thanks. I mean, look, so that's the main point. I want this to be a quick timeout. I want you to just take a step back for a minute today. I mean, sometimes if you're not careful, you walk in and just, everything comes at you like a fire hose, and you just start go, 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 go. You never take a step back. Take this moment right now. If you've walked off 45 minutes or an hour to listen to this, I'm going to give you some of that time back. I don't want you to listen to me ramble for an hour. I've rambled enough. Take this extra time that maybe you've blocked off on your calendar. Don't come back into the email, that weapon of mass distraction that it is, and take a step back and just think for a minute. Just think for a minute. What are the things that I'm doing that are having the biggest impact? And what one or two things am I doing that I'm just not doing all the way, and it's not really having that big of an impact? And it's like, what? Maybe I can cut that out.
What's going to make you money today?
Yeah, what's going to make you money is a great question to ask. What's profitable, right? I mean, this is a business that we run here, and if you're doing something over here that's not producing fruit, then you shouldn't be doing it anymore.
And don't spend time with time burglars.
No.
How many people are burgling your time that are never going to pay you today?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to hear what my good friend TJ called excessive time spent on email this morning. I'm a little embarrassed, Megan. I know you guys are sometimes a little off color, so excuse me in advance if I offend you. But TJ was just talking to some of the folks that were asking us for help with their business structure just this morning on another little live hangout. And he was like, guys, stop worrying about, your email marketing and your emails to agents and all that kind of stuff. I mean, excessive time in email is really just the same as masturbation. It really is.
It's hard to get away from it.
And I'm the HR violation.
I mean,
This is gonna be this great.
pick up the phone and get the job
I have
done.
no comment.
Always the quiet guy in the corner, I swear.
I can't speak to that.
I know. You guys are the bank.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
All
For all the
yeah.
Bank of America, Wells Fargo LOs that are in this group, I'm sorry.
We'll be breaking
Oh,
into
God.
session momentarily.
Wells Fargo just cut the feed. You just got blacklisted at Wells Fargo. So
That already happened.
So take a step back today, guys, just for a few minutes. Get a piece of paper out, write down all the different little things you're doing, the efforts that you're doing. Go, okay, wait a minute, that's not really working. What's going to have greater impact? What's the biggest bang for the buck in terms of time spent and effort? And then on that idea of, look, you have to continue to have. We brought up earlier, you have to have a continued new stream to come in. Think about a pond that sits. What happens to a pond that doesn't have a new stream of water coming into it and nothing going out? What happens to that water? What is that word?
Stagnate.
Stagnate.
Called a mosquito breeding ground in Michigan.
Yeah, it stagnates, right? Eventually it begins to lose its oxygen content.
Yep.
Nothing can grow there. In fact, things start to die there. That's what can happen to your business.
Looks like you're fish.
So listen, you've got to cut out the things in your business that are not right. That's let the stream go out, right? Like a healthy lake or pond has fresh water coming in and bad water going out. And so there are things that you need to let go out, right? You need to cut out of your business and out of your team. It's like, hey, this is not helping my business. And you need to be on the lookout for some new relationships. And I'll just say about that. So go and take an assessment of that. Go lean into the ones that are fruit producers, that like you, that you like them, that you guys do well together. And it's time to say goodbye to some of the others. And those things happen for a number of reasons. I'll just tell you, I mean, you brought up being complacent or comfortable, but also other people's lives change, right? I mean, I've got an agent who I worked with for years. We were great friends, but frankly, she started going to a different church, and that church has got a very strong business influence, and there was a loan officer there. And I mean, they are doing business together now. I don't really get any, we don't really work together anymore very much. And that's because of her new church business relationship over there, for one thing. And I had a loan officer I know. He's a little more senior in the business, had a booming business. He's probably in his 50s. And a couple of years ago, two things happened to him. Same guy. One big referral partner agent of his died. Another referral partner just said, you know what? I'm retiring. I'm done. So within a year, two of his top referral partners were out of the business. Well, now what? So now what? So his business took a massive hit because he got comfortable, complacent, not because he wasn't taking care of them. They got out of the business. One died and one just retired. Mm-hmm. So you need to constantly be bringing in new relationships. If nothing else but for that reason. So, good guys, that's it. Just let's focus on our pond. Let's cut some things out that need to be let go. Let's bring a few new things in, and then let's really take a few minutes here, take a step back, and go, what's not working? What do I not really have time to lean into that's not producing fruit? Let's cut some things out and just get more laser focused on the things that are working. That's it in a nutshell. What I wanted to talk about today.
Cool.
There is a light at the end of the tunnel.
In a nutshell, I can't get out.
This is me in a nutshell.
So last thing I got, and we'll go, is we put an event in the side of the group. Andrew has been gracious enough to help us figure out lodging and accommodations for an upcoming military mortgage boot camp event. Not necessarily a plug for that. I mean, it kind of is.
Yes, it is.
It totally is. So, yes, if you'd like to come join Andrew, Jason Steyer, and some of the folks in the military mortgage boot camp community as we spend 2 days learning how to serve veterans better, learning how to, we call it surf VA red tape, learning how to
VA red tape.
get better at helping veterans get their offers accepted, be a better advocate, all that kind of stuff. that's what we'll be doing. So
yep, we're always going to have that basic refresher. It just because it can't be ignored. You always have to have that basic foundation, like what we talked about. So we are always going to cover boot camp basic training, but we really make it a point to go out of our way to make sure each event we do has something different, bringing more value. We do listen to the group and MMBC alumni to see what people want. You know, and a lot of the things that we rehash are things that we just quite honestly see the same issues arise over and over and over and over again. And, you know, why do we continue to teach certificate eligibility? Because people still screw it up every month. Every month it gets screwed up, right? And why do we still talk about, you know, the entitlement calculation? Because it still gets screwed up. So those are things that we always cover. But one of the things we really want to do is we do want to get to some of the more advanced type, what I call the in-doc training, you know, and things of branding yourself. And we're going to do some video creation this time and really do some cool things.
Check out Andrew's page. Andrew,
Yeah.
tell them about your page real quick, and then we'll end the call.
The Andrew Paul Veteran Advocate page.
Yeah,
Yep.
I love that page.
Yeah, I mean, just a Facebook page that I started a couple of years ago now, and you know, I'll talk about mortgage on there. I talk about veterans issues and, you know, my passion for helping my fellow veterans. So that's the vast majority of what I talk about. I bring guests on. We do live broadcasts. Generally, my guests are somehow military related. Maybe it's a fellow veteran who's transitioned and they're in a new line of business. So I want to highlight their business to help them. We'll talk about their transition, and it's for veterans, right? We're talking about veterans issues, usually talking about the struggle of transition. And then talk about some other topics that I'm passionate about. Also, a lot of veterans typically are as well. Second Amendment issues, raising young boys to become strong men. So that's the Andrew Paul Veteran Advocate, you know, live show kind of thing. And, you know, it's been great. Again, very careful. I don't talk about mortgage on there. Nobody really kind of gives a rip about that. I mean, if anybody ever noticed that, like, you know, you do like all these mortgage posts, you get like one like, nobody cares. Okay. So, you know, you want to build a community around things people actually care about, and they'll actually tune in and interact and have a conversation with you. So that's the Andrew Paul Veteran Advocate page. And, you know, if you want to lean into serving veterans, you know, we're going to talk about that at the Military Mortgage Boot Camp in San Diego in May. And what look, San Diego is a great location. I imagine I don't really have to twist many people's arms to come out to San Diego. But if you want to learn how to serve veterans better, especially in the VA space, maybe polish up some of your understanding for the VA guidelines, what you can and can't do. Maybe dispel some of the misconceptions around overlays or confusing conventional and FHA policy with VA. That's where we're going to really separate that. So you leave really understanding this is the VA guideline. I'm telling you, there's lots of confusion. If you're a guy that does like 1 in 10 deals as a VA loan, yeah, I know you got a license and you can do a VA loan. But if you want to really be able to hold yourself out in the marketplace as being somebody who is a specialist in the VA loan, you need to come to the event in San Diego. Military Mortgage Boot Camp is going to arm you with those how-tos, you know, to be the best at doing a VA loan. And then the rest is going to come with experience. So, yeah, join us in May.
Surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. That's all I ever do. So that's why I'm.
Hey,
You learn from the best.
yeah. Hey, champions hang out with other champions.
All right. Peace out, guys. Thank you so much for your time, Andrew. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Right.